Hi guys, John, the firearms instructor, and welcome back to our YouTube live. We appreciate you being here. If you can for me, let me know that I'm being heard loud and clear through giving us a little comment. We appreciate anybody can comment and let me know where you're from. That'll help out tremendously as well. Today is Tuesday, and we are going to do this live. We've got a couple different things we want to talk about. First, we want to talk about her. There we go. Miss Hillary says she can hear me, so that's good news there. All right, so we've got a few things we want to talk about. First of all, we'd like to send out a thank you to you guys due to the fact that we have hit our subscriber miles, and now we are fully monetized, and we truly appreciate this very much from you guys. We've started this channel many years ago, many months ago. September of last year, Johnny and I started it. We had 39 subscribers. I remember the day, and Johnny goes, "Can you believe we just hit 3,000 subscribers a couple months ago?" And then all of a sudden now we got to, you know, 10,000 subscribers, and then now we're at 26,000 subscribers and growing. We have 4,000 watch hours, and we owe it all to you guys out there. So thank you, thank you, thank you from the bottom of my heart, bottom of my family's heart, helping a small family-owned business through the YouTube journey. We started this many years ago, many months ago. I've had this since 2018, and we've been playing around with it, but we really started doing it serious last year when Johnny started here and helping me get these videos pumped out and things like that. We've got our YouTube shorts, we have our YouTube channel, we have all the little TikTok and Instagram and all that stuff like that. So we've been very, very fortunate, and you guys are very, very receptive, and we really appreciate that very much. Hope you're doing well. Hope everything's doing wonderful. We are happily waiting for our winter residents to get here. We've had a little bit of a lull this summer, and it has, that's why I'm putting out so many videos due to the fact that we're not as busy as we'd like to be. We had a pretty good day today. We do not have anybody shooting this afternoon, so we shouldn't hear any gunshots or anything else like that. But we started this video this time, this session. We wanted to talk about what you need to know if you're going to come to the range for the very first time. And I put together a list because one of you subscribers asked the same question. I thought that is a great question, and I think I'm going to follow up on it. So I put a full list together of things I thought you may need to know prior to. But before we do this, let's talk about our our drill of the week. This week we did a drill that had to do with presentation. And it's a pretty good drill. It gives us the ability to push the gun out in front of us and see your sight picture as clean and crisp and clear as possible. You have an opportunity to watch that video. I highly recommend it. It will help you increase your accuracy by seeing your sights. What tends to happen, guys, is too many people are focusing on too many different things. Some people focus on the front post only without looking at the back post. Some people look at the back post really clear, crystal clear. Some people look at the target. What you're really supposed to do is you're supposed to visualize your front post through your back post and on the target that you're aiming at, and kind of visualizing it and seeing it. And the more you can put that up in your line of sight and automatically focus in on that front post being where it needs to be, and then slowly cutting the trigger and returning that front post back to the uh, same same target is what needs to be done on a regular basis to become more proficient. What tends to happen is people are slapping the crap out of the trigger, and it's driving right, it's driving left, it's diving in, it's diving out, and it's causing a lot of different inaccuracies. So you focusing on that front post and really concentrating on a nice, clean trigger, crisp trigger engagement is going to help us tremendously. All right, we got somebody's commenting something. Natasha, I'm back in town. Hello, Mom. Natasha's mom is watching, and so is Tasha. I'm glad you guys are back. I'm glad you got back safe. Thank you for commenting. We appreciate it very much. So let's go ahead. Like I mentioned to you before, guys, we're not going to drag these things out. I think it's going to help us tremendously. We just get to a point where we do what we need to do and cover what we need to cover. And if it takes 15 to 20 to 25 or 30 minutes or 40 minutes or whatever it is, that's it. And we're not going to try to extend out to an hour. I owe it to you for watch this stuff, and I don't want to drag it on any more than I have to. So let's go ahead and hit this. I'm going to add this to it. I am going to pop me up, and I think what I'm going to do is I am going to go right here for this. There we go. Go full screen. Let's go ahead and take that thing off the back, the thank you off there. Let's see if I can get this. Oh, there we go. And I'll go ahead and remove me. There we go. You get me now? Yeah. I apologize, guys. Got me?
Yeah, I got you now.
All right. Yeah. Sorry about that. So what is it? What are the avatar we're looking at? The avatar we're looking at is someone just like you. This is somebody who may have just bought a pistol. We had a class today with a lady who bought a pistol down the street. They recommended her to come to me. Well, she had never shot that pistol. Technically, she never racked it or held it in her hand or anything else like that. She walked in the store and told them she wanted a compact gun for carry. And they sold her a little pistol without having too much idea what she planned to do with it. And she had never been to a range or anything else like that. So I thought, wow, this is going to be good for her, going to be good for you guys as well. So as we walk through these, I want you to think about things that you physically would add to this list. If you will, for me, add them or comment about them, and we'll talk about it at the end here. All right. So I guess the very first thing we got to get our head around is, firearm safety and knowledge, and knowing the fundamentals of gun safety is critical. One of the most important things to understand, there's the handgun safety rules, and then there's understanding them to the point of just getting it in your head and not forgetting it. So I always talk to people, the number one handgun rule of all handgun rules is treat the weapon if it's always loaded. If the weapon is always loaded, you're going to keep your finger off the trigger. What are you not going to point it at? Anything you love and don't want to destroy. Always keep the weapon pointing in a safe direction. Know your target and what's beyond. Those are the rules we need to follow on a regular basis. But we're in a gun range. There are a few more rules that the gun ranges themselves have that some places don't have. And we need to be careful when we're pointing the front of that gun, especially when we're taking the magazine out of the gun or putting the magazine into the weapon. We want to make sure we're not raising the gun up. We see so many people raise the gun up and bring it down here. I see a lot of that because people do that on TV. That's why people do that. They're raising the gun up, or they're lifting the gun up high like this to look inside the magazine. You would never want to work. You want to work from table down, guys, not table up. And table up means taking the gun and bringing it up raising it and bringing it forward like that versus coming up from the table and presenting the firearm and then taking the magazine out or anything else like that. You always want to keep that weapon pointing down range because people are next to you. And we're 5 lanes here, but there are ranges that could be 10, 15, 20, 25 people. And if everybody's turning that gun in one direction, if they're right-handed, they normally turn it to the left to get the magazine out. Would you want that firearm being pointed at you? And this is where the range officers come in handy because a lot of people don't know all the rules and regulations of anything. But first, right off the bat, would be make sure you understand completely the handgun safety rules. All right, so let's go to the next one. All right, this is where I would tell you, and I always try to do this for people who are coming here to do a class with us. I always recommend you do a class or go to the range with a friend or a family member. It's not about them knowing more than you or you knowing more than them. It's more about you gathering it together. If you take a class individually, I find that people who take a class individually or to go anywhere individually, they learn just very little. But when someone does it together, they're hearing the class multiple times. So I would recommend if you're going to start your first time at the range, make sure you do it with a friend that can go with you on a regular basis. It'll make you feel a lot better. It'll make you feel more confident as well. Now, you know, I couldn't do this list without recommending some kind of training class. It's going to really help you in the long run build your fundamentals and confidence if you take a training class. Now, not everybody can afford to take a training class, but you almost can't afford not to, if that makes sense. Because imagine if you're trying to pick all this stuff up yourself. Imagine, because we always talk about shooting is not complicated, it's complex. There's a lot of moving parts, there's a lot of moving pieces. Are you right-handed, left eye dominant? Are you left-handed, right eye dominant? Are you getting enough power with your hands? If you're a woman, are you driving the gun with your wrist and your booty versus trying to muscle the gun with your hands? Are you, there's so many little tiny things that an instructor is going to walk you straight through all this stuff. It's going to give you that overall foundation you need. I had to put this screen in because not everybody has the ability to get to an instructor, may not know an instructor. But if you're looking for a good quality instructor in your area, you can always go to the United States Concealed Carry Association or the NRA, put your zip code in, and they're going to give you qualified instructors in those areas. Then follow their credentials, look at them. Most of your gun ranges that are in town, like us and the one up the street here, which is a big corporation gun range, they have instructors in them as well. So I would highly recommend first time going to the range, you should have somebody there that has some experience. We don't rent firearms here at our store except for our students. But if someone's coming here, one of the first questions we ask them, have you shot a pistol before? And if you haven't, you really need to get some foundation done before you go and borrow a pistol. Because if you're renting a firearm and you don't know what you do with it, those guys aren't going to go out there and spend 25 minutes to an hour with you trying to help you learn to shoot. That's not going to be advantageous for your learning abilities, especially if you've never been indoor gun ranges. There's a lot of noise that's going on. Outdoors, it is noisy, but the walls are holding this concussion and it's being bounced off a lot of things. So trying to learn what you're doing and trying to get through the recoil management and all this bullets flying and you're nervous, where an instructor would give you the ability, maybe take a private class prior to going to the range by yourself. And that's kind of number 3. Would highly recommend you do some kind of instructor and build that confidence. All right. Number 4 is having the proper safety gear. This is something you are going to need at the first time you come to. Now we have a full wall of safety gear. We have eye and ear wear. It is mandatory that you wear this back there. We will not let you go back without having these on, because there's a thing called spall. And what happens in that bullet is copper plated over lead. And when you shoot that on a steel plate like we have in the bag, now outdoor ranges, they have dirt most of the time. So you're not really getting the spall like you do here indoors, or if you're shooting some kind of steel plate, that spall, little pieces of lead, can be flying all over the place. So if you don't have proper glasses on or the proper earwear on, it's going to be really, really challenging for you, and you're not going to like the impact of that. That's why I always joke and kid about the movies. They're shooting these firearms inside buildings with no earmuffs, no eyewear on. You had to do that with an AR or a shotgun inside your home. It is challenging, man, and to do it over and over and over again. That's why the movies are what they are, the movies, right? Oh, by the way, guys, when you jump behind a couch to stop a bullet, the couches don't stop bullets. So all the movies, the guys jump behind the couch all the time. Uh, a bullet will go through a couch. Just remember that. All right, so all the safety gear you need, that's important. Oh, excuse me. Back out of that thing. And then the next one would be range rules, policies, dress codes, best practices. Most of the ranges have their own rules on their website, but most of your ranges will have some kind of RO or range officer that will walk you through the rules before you even go back, right? And you've got to follow those rules or you're going to be kicked out. Any kind of safety violation that threats the safety of an individual or themselves will be kicked out right off the bat. There's no questions about that. And when you're new to shooting, you may not know all the rules and regulations to best your ability. And for the RO, the range officer, his job is to keep you and everybody else safe. And when you break a rule, it's just easier for him to send you packing than it is to explain it to you. Now, we don't do that here. That's why it's imperative that you make sure you understand the rules. But sometimes going to gun ranges, some of the guys at those ranges have deal with a bunch of idiots, and they want to get the problem done as fast as possible. It's no sweat off them that you just paid $25 to come shoot and you broke a rule of violation and they kick you out. It's kind of one of those deals where you break the rules, you learn, then you come back to try it again. And that's going to not build confidence. That's going to make you feel uncomfortable going to the range. Because if they explain to you what you did wrong, then you wouldn't do it again. But when they're screaming at you about what you did wrong, it's not going to make you feel comfortable or anybody else. So this is why it's so important that you get yourself an idea of what the rules and regulations are. And it could be just as simple as bringing the wrong ammo in. We don't allow steel rounds here. If you have steel rounds in the back, we always recommend that you put them away, because steel is something that our guy who buys all of our brass here will not accept. And we don't want to be spending all day collecting the steel out of our buckets. So taking steel rounds to an indoor range, they may not like. Sweeping up your own brass and taking your own brass home, some of the ranges don't like that. They want to shag their own brass. There are a lot of different range rules and etiquettes that you may not, what they call cold and hot ranges. Being indoor or outdoor ranges, there's totally different rules and regulations. Some clubs have different rules and regulations, and you must know them. You can't assume you know them. That's where when you talk to the range officer, he'll be able to give you what the major rules would be. All right, so the commands, basically, there's a few simple commands that the RO may scream out once in a while. He may scream out cold or hot. Cold range is where you have to have the gun at slide lock position, you putting the gun down with breech up, and stepping away from your booth. He can call hot, which means the range is always hot. Indoor ranges on a regular basis are always hot. The outdoor ranges do stop, go hot and cold once in a while. And that hot and cold gives the ability, if you're at an outdoor range, to go out and take targets out. Now, when you're taking your target out, there is a blue line or a red line that's normally on the floor in an outdoor range that you must step past. You cannot be up at your gun messing with anything while people are out downrange putting targets up. I know this seems elementary, guys, to some of you that are shooting on a regular basis. Remember, there are people on this call that have never been to a range before. So it's imperative that they hear everything. So understand the range commands. If you don't know them all, ask for assistance, because the RO, the range officer, will help you understand them the best you can. Mostly outdoor ranges have hot and cold. Indoor ranges, you may hear us. We use the term once in a while. We're gonna go cold, so step back. And when you're at an indoor range, you're gonna step completely out of your booth and all the way put your back against the wall, is what we always say. Back against the wall, because we're gonna maybe go down range. If someone shot our ropes to making our track system go back, or one of the guys' cardboard target fell, we don't want anybody in any booths while we're out downrange. All right. So understand the range commandments. That's key there. All right. This is where we're going to do a lot more videos in regards to having a plan and our mission. In majority of the time, people go to the range for a couple different reasons. One, they're just trying to blow off some stress. Two, they're wanting to learn something or be more proficient. And, having a plan when you go to the range, having some drills you can do on a regular basis. Remember, our YouTube channel has a bunch of drills you can do. You can spend a lot of time doing small drills. The more you spend running the gun and being confident with it, the easier it is. Just going to the range, buying 300 rounds of ammo, and just pulling the trigger is not a mission. Every time you engage that weapon, you're picking up a habit. Please make sure it's a good habit, not a bad habit. I told you before, shooting is not complicated. It's complex, and there's a lot of moving parts. The challenge of most people is when they spend time at the range, putting 200 rounds down range. I had a class today with a guy. He has been in our range for about 3 weeks now, consistently 2 or 3 times a day, two or three times a week. Ex-military, and he's trying to learn to shoot a pistol. Well, after about 3 or 4 comments last week and trying to help him a little bit, he asked, can I do a class with him? And I said, sure. And we went back today, this morning, and we took his groups from all over the place to a 3-inch circle. And it took 3 things. One, he was standing with his feet in front of him and leaning back as he was shooting. 2, he was putting his finger deep into the gun. And 3, he was just pulling the trigger. And he went from this big, massive group to a tight group. And those little tiny things, so I gave him 3 drills to try each time he comes for the next week or so. And when he left here, he was confident as can be. And this is what we're looking for. When you go to the range, guys, and you take your target and you put it all the way out there, we have 31 feet, so we're 11 yards here. We're an indoor, small 5-lane training facility. So we don't have a 25 yards or anything. We have 11 yards back there. What's important is 3, 5, and 7. 3 yards, 5 yards, and 7 yards. Those were our concealed carry or defensive distances. If you're out shooting past 21 foot at somebody with a handgun, you make sure you're proficient as you can be, because don't ever forget you're responsible for your bullet. But to be proficient with a weapon, you have to spend the time, make your plans, and get the drills that are going to make you more proficient. And that's important, because if you're just coming to range to blast, and I get it. I mean, I get the whole, let's put a 33 round stick in the gun and just blast away. That's cool and neat. But nobody's winning on that. You know, you're shooting up my walls, you're shooting my floor up, you're not hitting the target at all. You cut one of my strings, you got a problem there as well. How much control do you have when you're shooting rapid like that compared to a controllable fire? Controllable fire is one of those deals. We don't have rapid fire here at the store per se, but we have controllable fire. If you can put 5 rounds downrange, quick and accurate, great. But if you're putting 5 rounds downrange and they're all over the place, then you need to slow down. And that's kind of what I get at. So what I was trying to tell you is, don't start at 33. Start at the 10 feet, work to the 15 feet, work to the 20 feet, and then pass. Once you conquer a distance, then you can go past it. I see too many people who come in here, the very first thing they do is take the target, put it up, and push it all the way to the back. And then they wonder why they're not consistent. Wonder why they're not. Because remember, every little minute thing you do with the firearm multiplies with the firearm in distance. So think about that. If you're pulling low and left, it's going to be twice low and left as further you go out, further you go out, further you go out. So have a plan. That's important. That's important. All right. Here's another thing. A lot of guys on this list may not have their own firearm at this point in time. So if you're renting a firearm, you need to understand the calibers and what best suits you. If you're a little old lady and you're renting a 45 ACP, and the guy at the gun range is going to let you rent a 45 ACP, it may be a little bit too much gun for you. But then again, if you're trying to use a 22 for home defense purposes, and I'm not going to say it doesn't do it, and then you want to rent a 9mm after the fact, that 9mm is going to seem like it's got a ton of recoil versus the 22. So just pick one gun you think you're going to be comfortable with and use it to your best of your ability. Now, renting firearms is a good way to try a bunch of pistols before you buy one, but you got to have some confidence on holding and controlling the weapon and everything else like that. I guess when I made this list, I was assuming somebody had taken a class and now is ready to come on their own. Now, we do this weekly. Our system here at the store is a pretty good system, because what we end up doing, we get them signed up for the first training class we do. Large percentage of people come here have a pistol or may not have a pistol. It's up to them, whichever they want to do. And when they come here, we're going to let them shoot some popular pistols and take a training class with us. And once they take them to training class with us, and let's say they picked one of the pistols we brought out and they liked it, then we would have them buy one. And once they bought the pistol, we're going to set them up on what's called a pickup class. That lady or that gentleman or that couple is going to come back when their gun is in, and we're going to go back and use their pistol to do the next training class. And that next training class itself is going to build their confidence for taking the gun home. Remember, they may not even ever had a pistol before. Now they've shot a pistol, and now they're going to take a pistol home. Now, at the end of that class, at the end of the next class, we ask them, do you need another class, or would you like to come up here and shoot? Now, obviously, I'm going to give you my recommendation the best I can. Like the lady today, she booked a class with us. She came and shot. That was yesterday. They all run together after a while, guys. She came, picked her gun up. She's confident, but not overly confident. So I said, I think you need another class. And she said, oh, I'm glad you said that, because I really wanted to do another, but I was worried that you would think I wasn't getting it. I said, absolutely not, honey. I want you to go home as confident as possible. So we got her set up for another one. And that's the beauty of this, is the more you do it, the easier it becomes. You know, flipping eggs is not easy if you don't know what you're doing. But when you do know what you're doing, you can do it all the time. So that's the one thing about firearms. It's not complicated. It's complex. You just got to get it figured out. Find the best system works for you and repeat it. Rinse and repeat. Rinse and repeat. Here's one of my pet peeves. I'm going to tell you this right now. When you go to the range, your mama doesn't work there. So when you're done shooting at the end of the day, you need to clean up your area. Replace your target if they have targets, and you need to sweep up your brass. Now, outdoors, they don't let you do a lot of that sweeping up brass stuff. You can't go past a certain point. So they kind of don't like you going out in the grass and picking up your brass and all that stuff. But indoors, you own your spot from right to left in your bay. This is a sort of a picture of our range here. So if you're in this lane here, you're going to go all the way to the target in the back. Now, you don't turn your gun sideways or anything else, but what you're responsible for is underneath your feet all the way to the back wall, not the target wall, the one behind you, all the way to the back wall, and you're going to sweep up your brass. And yes, you may have to sweep up a little bit of brass that got on the other lane next to you. And you're going to sweep all that brass up and put it in the bucket. And that's important, because when you don't clean it, one of my kids have to go back there and clean it. And when they don't show up to work, guess who has to go back there and clean it? Me, which makes me not happy. So make sure you sweep up your brass the best you can, clean up your area. Like my dad always said, make the place look nicer than when you walked in. And now, we get paper targets. There's paper all over the place. I'm not asking you to make it spotless, but just make sure it's clean like you would like to see it if you walked in. All right. Another thing, guys, in the range itself, there's some etiquette about what you do with your firearm. And I'm going to give you what we recommend you do. And it's imperative that you understand you do not walk around with a firearm in your hand in an indoor range. So the concept would be, there is, like, an indoor range has a sally port. Now, a sally port's a big word for two doors with air in between them. And basically, when you come into an indoor range, you're going to walk to the front door. You're going to sign the release, or we have electronic releases too, so you may be able to sign your release. If you're a member, you've already signed your release for the month. And you're going to walk in. You're going to put your earmuffs, your eyewear, and everything on, and you're going to walk through the first door. You're going to let that first door shut. Then you're going to open up the second door. What this does, that breaks the two doors apart. So if someone's shooting back there, you're not opening both doors at the same time and getting this loud concussion inside the showroom. That makes really people upset when they're hearing that loud noise, and it's really solvable by using the sally port doors. Okay, once you're inside the range itself, this is why you need to put your ears and eyewear on. You're not going to have time to do that back there. People are going to be shooting. You're going to go to an empty bay. Most of the time, the range is going to tell you where they want you, right? Now, sometimes we tell people just go to one that's open. And we offer free targets here, but some ranges make you pay for targets. So they're going to give you a couple targets. You're going to go back. Now, this is where the stapler is. You're going to staple up your target. You're going to push it out to the first line, and you're going to work on your fundamentals. Boom, 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 boom. Now, what we do is you walk in, take your gun bag to your table. All right. You're going to pull out a firearm, not every firearm. You don't need to put out 15 firearms on the table. All right. And once you've done that one firearm, because the more firearms you have on the table, more chances of losing a magazine or losing something. And realistically, guys, this is where you get yourself in trouble. When you got 5 guns out there, you want to shoot all 5. And if all 5 guns have 15 rounds in them, you want to put all 15 rounds in that gun. And if all 15 rounds need to be shot, you want to pull all 15 rounds and shoot them. And about those 15 rounds, probably 5 are good. The rest you are along for the ride. That's why we do 5 rounds at a time on a regular basis, guys. 5 rounds at a time is going to give you magazine drop, magazine load, sight alignment, sight picture 5 times. Then take your time, take the magazine out, put 5 more rounds in. If you did 5 rounds at a time, guys, I do this all the time. I do training classes every day. And we use 5 rounds at a time. And it takes approximately about an hour with a little bit of time between each one for them to soak up the understanding of what they're doing right and what they're doing wrong, which is the same thing you should be doing. Was those bullets going where I want them, or were they going somewhere else? Was I pulling the trigger, or was I pressing the trigger? And all that stuff like that. So now you shot this pistol, you want to grab another one, go get your bag, come back out, put your gun in, grab your other gun back out, put your bag back behind you again. Now you can walk back and forth with your magazines all you want. I just don't want you walking around with a pistol. And nobody at any gun range is going to want you to walk around with a pistol. And that includes a rifle, a revolver, and anything else. And when you're done shooting for the day, you don't take your pistol to your bag. You take your bag to your pistol. That way you're not walking around with a gun. These are the little things like this that the range officer will freak out about. This is what we stop most people from doing, is walking around or doing something silly with a firearm, because I can't tell from the cameras if that weapon is at slide lock or is not at slide lock, but I know for a fact it shouldn't be in the middle of the carpet. It needs to be on the table, pointed downrange at all times. And when you spin to turn the gun to go back to take the gun to your bag, then you've turned that gun completely from where it was to the opposite side, which in turn you swept somebody in the range. Even though the weapon could be empty, think about this. Would you want to be on the end of that sweep? And the answer is no. So never, ever pull your gun out, walk around in the range. Always have the gun on the table and bring your bag to your gun, not your gun to your bag. All right. All right. Here's the thing. We always talk about this. It's very important to get our head around. Treat the gun with respect it deserves. Firearms aren't inherently dangerous. Most people come to here and have never shot a pistol before. So they look at a firearm as a deadly weapon. I get the concept of it, but I want you to really think about this. What does the firearm do without you? Nothing. Can it load its own magazine? Nope. Can it pull its own trigger? Nope. It can't do a thing without you. You can scream at that gun all you want. Shoot, shoot. It's never going to shoot. It's not going to jump off the table and chase you around. The firearm is just like a spatula, ladies and gentlemen. It's just a tool that needs to be operated by a craftsman. Make sure you're the craftsman, and that's imperative, because most people get caught up that a firearm's deadly. What makes a firearm deadly, guys, is ignorance. If you're not, you don't have the education, that becomes the problem with it, and that's where most people hurt themselves what they thought was an unloaded gun. You know, most people thought there's no rounds in it because it doesn't have a magazine in it. Do you know that every semi-automatic pistol, almost 98.9% of, there's a couple guns out there that have a magazine disconnect. With the magazine out, the gun will still fire. And you can't say, well, 22s don't do that. Yeah, they do. Glock 44, Taurus TX, they all shoot with the magazine out. So you want to be very careful with that. All right. Let's see. I don't know if I have anything. So those are our 10 things to consider before you go to the range. And it's very imperative that we We make sure you have a concept of this. Shooting at the range, we as a company love the idea of having newbies every week. I don't get the concept of ranges not welcoming newbies. And I'm not saying that every range does that. I'm sure there's a lot of companies out there that are training facilities that do a really, really great job. But we all know there are some ranges out there that aren't very new friendly. I guess it's a trusting thing. They don't really trust the factor of somebody new. But we're all new at something, guys. And I don't want you to feel that you can't do it, because you can. I deal with newbies all week, all month, all year, and each one of the newbies become good friends of mine and great shooters. So I'd highly recommend, if you're thinking about doing it, do it. We talked about getting someone to go with you. That's important, whether it be a husband or a wife or a buddy or a pal, and become part of your team. If you could only do it, if you only do one thing, I'd recommend getting a trainer to train you. He's going to walk you through a lot of this stuff and get you over that hurdle prior to. It just takes time, guys. The confidence will be built. No one's going to be an expert marksman to begin with, but at the end, it's going to make you feel a lot more comfortable when you know that you've got all the technique, how to hold the firearm, how to rack it, all that stuff. Don't worry about all that stuff, because the trainer's going to help you with that. It's getting the fundamentals of the range and the etiquette of the range and all that stuff. I've done a bunch of videos on what to do at the range. We did a full etiquette video at the range. We walked you through coming through our front door all the way through the training facility and back. That's on our YouTube channel as well. Highly recommend you look at some of those videos. What I want to do is get to some of the comments and see what you guys are saying up here and see if I missed anything. Let me go ahead and get out of this here and hit some of those comments. All right. All right. So, oh, hey, we got Odessa, Texas. Odessa, stand roll. Larry McDonald, safety, safety, safety. Good job. Thank you, Larry. Appreciate that very much. We have Mara B. Love these videos, John. I learned so much from you. We appreciate that. Guys, I am open to suggestions about other videos that you guys would like to see. We were thinking about doing some gun reviews, but I'm not sure exactly if we're going to be able to do that through the live thing, so we may have to do some of that stuff. But what are you looking for? What are you having problems with training-wise? We're going to get another guest or two. We're going to do a bunch of stuff. I just keep adding these things when something clicks in my brain. I think that'd make a good stream. We do it. I have been we've been bracking our brain on little things we can do to make it better and better for you guys. So if you had an opportunity, you can always comment for us. Guys that are on here, we talked about the memberships before. We are offering the hats now. I wanted to give a shout out to 2 members that made a full month. Obviously, Natasha. And then we have When Pigs Fly. He was my first member, and I have not seen him lately, and he hasn't been on any of the stuff, but he is our first member, and Natasha was second, and we are looking for a few more. That memberships get you a lot of different. A lot of our videos now are going to go the members first. It's going to go, you guys going to get it, and then we're going to push it out to the rest of the world. So we're going to start doing that stuff. Our membership programs are all set up there. They start as low as $2.99, and all that does is support us through helping us get equipment and things. I'm doing all this stuff with camera phones and things like that, so it makes everything better for you guys. These videos are not hard to do. The software is not hard to have, but it does cost money, you know. And that being a small family-owned business, you know, we're trying to, you know, make everyone happy and do everything we love. It's something I loved. I did this many years ago just for the purpose of the whole training thing came in a, you know, it's a passion of mine. You know, we do these things for educational purposes. We do these things for education purposes, and we do it for entertainment. And you know, without you guys, I wouldn't be doing it at all. Larry McDonald's one of our good guys. He became a member many months ago. He became a good customer. He came all the way from Medina to see us. He wanted to shake the man's hand, I guess. It's kind of weird to have people come in, but since Larry's been, he's been buying stuff and doing, and that's why we did this stuff, not just to introduce ourselves to a lot more people. You know, I'm so shocked and amazed. There's 25,000. It's 26,000, excuse me, 26,000 of you guys at this point in time that have seen our videos. We're getting somewhere between 109 to 112,000 views a month. And it's just getting better and better and better. And I never expected it to build to this. I thought, you know, like I said before, we started this thing with 37 subscribers, and now look where we are, and it's just getting better and better and better. All right, Chris Rome just clicked in. Hello, Chris. How you doing? Where are you from, Chris? Let us know where you're from. Fred, great video. Appreciate the education. Even though I'm experienced in front, I learn new things throughout every video. Hey, thanks, Fred. I appreciate that very much. We appreciate that. That means a lot to us. Yeah, I mean, I learn from every student. So what's the great thing about that is during the week when I'm doing one of these things and I say something, or I get a student says something to me and I kind of think, well, that'd be great to go on. It lets me write stuff down. I don't think I can run out of, you know, I really thought when I started this thing, I thought, well, what am I going to talk about? What am I going to do? What am I going to, what's the next thing? And they just come to me, because I think the more I can open your mind up to education, the more you guys can feel comfortable shooting, the more time we're going to have together, and you become part of my family. I mean, you know, each week I see the same people rolling in there: Natasha, Fred, Larry, Dan. I mean, Murray Broll. I mean, these guys have been here time in and time out, and we're getting more and more. My future daughter-in-law Hillary, she sits and watches all of the stuff. I appreciate that. Natasha, she's been a super great friend as well as shooter. She's an awesome shooter. She's learned so much. We've done so many training classes together. She's part of our family here. She is an instructor. We got her to go with us and do our instructor stuff. But I keep doing all this stuff for you guys, for your support, and we truly appreciate it. So I think I've jambled on enough. Well, we're at 48 minutes. I didn't realize it was that much. I'd like to talk to you about a couple different things as far as what we got coming up. We got more of these lives coming up. I'd like you to give me an idea of what you're looking for, what you want, what kind of videos you're looking for. That helps us tremendously. If you're not part of our subscriber, please subscribe. It will help us out tremendously. It makes all of it. Miss Johnson just checked in. That means that she's listening. What? Hello, baby. Look, girls rock. We cannot shoot you. Yes, you can. She's not wrong. All right, girls, calm down. Yes, Miss Johnson outshoots me all the time, ladies and gentlemen. I tell every husband that you bring your wife to me, you can't be smart anymore. When she says do laundry, you do laundry, because I'm going to teach her to shoot. She's going to be accurate as anything. So if there's nothing else out there, I'd like to thank you very much from the bottom of my heart for following a family-owned business through the YouTube journey. Until next time, God bless, be safe, and remember, you are your first line defense. Good night, folks. I love you very much, and we'll see you next week. Make sure you are watching those videos and telling friends and family about it. If you'd like to join our memberships, it's very easy to do. And then we have the lowest cost is $2.99, and that'll help support a family-owned business. Until next time, God bless, guys.